we see the same golfer in the down the line setup. We'll go ahead and draw the club path in, and we'll do a separate line for his back. His back's pretty straight up and down. I'd like to see that closer to 1 o'clock, bent over. Looks like his knees are pretty straight, not a lot of flex in there. The heels need to be out. I mean, the knees need to be out somewhere over the shoelaces to get us in the proper angle. And you notice they're not out there at all. So let's watch the takeaway. Pretty far back behind him, but he's standing straight up, so it's hard not to. And now he's directly perpendicular. Dropping down. Now the knees go. Makes contact, but again, remember from the face-on view, he's not getting any rotation or arm extension down the line. We need to work on the posture a little bit and the knee flex. Here we can see it set up that his head is behind the ball. Probably the ball should be a little further forward, maybe halfway between the ear and the tip of the shoulder. Let's see what happens in his movement. Moving back a little bit off the ball, you can see that. Not bad. Getting a lot of rotation there. The camera's moved a little bit in relationship to the ball. But you can see that what he's doing here is he's not coming through the shot at all. He's collapsing and breaking down that left arm. He's getting no extension of the left arm at all. So he's got no power there. We need to get him to extend his arms down the club lane, get a little separation. The club is almost against his belly here, the club handle. In fact, it might even be touching. As we come through, you can see there's not a lot of transfer of energy. Okay, we can see this starts part way back. He's hitting a nice early wrist hinge. You can see that the back of the left hand is pointing straight out. The club is approaching parallel to the ground. Continuing back. And now we see the club is setting. Getting a nice 90-degree hinge right there. Now let's watch the forward momentum. Still got a nice hinge there. Starting to lose a little bit. Right about now, we'd like to see the trail elbow right in there, tucked a little closer into the side. He's got a little too much gap because he's not turning his hips at all into the shot. The hips are dead square. No rotation of the hips is moving into the shot. Hips have turned a little bit there, not too bad. But at this point now, we'd still like to see more than a 90-degree angle of the club head. So it's kind of releasing the club head a little bit early. Not more of a scoop than a compression of the ball. It caught it quite a bit fat. There's no forward momentum at all of his lower body. Here he's pulling the club back in. He's not releasing the club at all through the shot. Now remember, with this golfer on the down the line view, we saw that the right knee never turned towards the target or towards the left knee. So let's just see what happens now, see if we get some good forward momentum. Pretty decent takeaway, good wrist hinge, a little lifting right there. You don't want to lose your level, so what he's done is he's raised up. It's going to make it hard to find. Now he's raised up some more, collapsing this arm. You can see right there, we've got to keep that arm straight if we can. A lot of wrist hinge, trying to come back down to the golf ball. You can see that he's going to top it a little bit, right on through the shot. Notice he's not getting the knee moving into the other knee, so he gets a little stuck looking right here. Doesn't get the nice extension down the line, and his head ends up out in front of where he is at setup. The head's in front of the hips. But let's go back a ways. Just before he hit this ball, he did a practice swing. Let's go take a look at where that finish was on that practice swing. See where he is there? There's a big difference. That was the practice swing. See how he's coming through nicely? That's what I want you to do on your real swing. What I'd like to see with this golfer is still a bit more pelvis tilt down. He's kind of slumping over. And if we could push the butt out a little bit and up so that we can have the pelvis kind of a little bit more at that angle. Maybe not quite that acute, but kind of at that angle. I think we'd see a better swing. Let's go ahead and draw the swing plane in. Well, that was a terrible line. Let's try it again. Draw the swing plane in. There we go. Let's watch the swing. Okay, as long as the golf, I don't move around too much. Keeping the club nicely above the swing plane. I moved a little bit there. Dropping the club down in. You see the rotation there. But the knee isn't rotating to the left knee. It's rotating out. That's keeping him from swinging to the outside. We need to get the left hip more out of the way so there's room for him to move that right knee into place. Set up. Let's go ahead and watch the swing in slow motion. Okay, left the club face open. So we're going to come back a little bit to the impact position. Right there you can see that the club is open. He's catching the ball kind of out on the toe besides. You can see the club head is way inside where the ball is. So he's lost some spine angle. Let's go ahead and go back to the setup. And we'll draw in our power line here, plane. Let's see what happens. So he's above the plane with his hands, which means the club is going to be at a wrong angle, and he's going to make impact. What we did with this golfer is we changed him into a Mo Norman style setup where he's just going to fold and unfold the right arm. Okay, part way back in the takeaway, see we have some good width in the golf swing. Notice that the head of the club is way out here, and if he creates a lot of club lag, the club will be, maybe a foot or so inside that line on the way down. What we don't like is the fact that he's straightening up his right knee. The knee is what we post up against. That knee should never move. It should never unlock during the backswing. So we're going to continue on to the top of the backswing. You can see he has moved, created quite a bit of club lag, quite a bit of hip movement into the shot. Pretty good. But what he's doing there is the right hand is still underneath the golf club. At this point, the left hand should be bowed forward. The right hand should be smoothing, coming out over the top of the golf club so I can see the golfer's left hand fingers under the club from this angle. The right hip should be moved more and forward into the shot. So he was actually doing his pivoting onto his heel without ever moving his weight forward. And at this point now, instead of having a nice straight line here, where his right hip, right shoulder, and right ear are, he's way back in his golf stance.